guys. So, I was originally just starting a spread for myself, but kind of felt like maybe somebody else was struggling in the same area as me, so here I am. In my new area, I haven't gotten a good setup for my recording yet, which is why I haven't done a really good read yet, but as soon as I do, that's the next thing on my agenda. But I just wanted to show you so far on my read, I have perception, and it's basically telling me to look at my perception and be aware of how much my perception influences my daily life, which then comes down to the 4 of fire, where I need to have a purpose and a clear understanding of what I want to do with myself. And then I get to my choice. And the choice is always going to be between something good or something better. And I may not always know what that is, but for me, that seems to be where I'm sitting with those. I did use Dreaming of Gaia. Oh, wrong one, sorry. Dreams of Gaia Tarot is the first one I am using. So, with those three, I'm going to actually pull out my Tarot of Dreams. We're going to clarify on my perception card, or on the perception card, guys. I just want to understand what they're trying to tell me about the perception. So I have, oh, sorry guys, I'm trying not to drop everything. I'm still getting used to my new space. So I have the 8 of Swords, okay. Let's see, is there anything else you guys would like to tell me about this perception? Spirit guides, is there anything else you would like to make me aware of on perception? Page of Swords. I could not have chosen these two if I had tried. And anybody who does know, or has been watching this channel, knows that right now I am currently still becoming memorized with all of the different cards. So you'll hear that I do occasionally look up different cards because I would like to make sure that my interpretation or my perception of things is correct. I do most of this by intuition, but especially when I read for myself, I like to double check on meanings of different cards and things like that to make sure that I'm not just seeing what I want to see and not what the cards are actually trying to tell me. Okay. So we're going to go to the 8 of Swords. And for this deck, the main thing that's highlighted for this is being restricted by one's own assumptions, biases, and prejudices. A woman floats inside a bubble that rests upon 8 sword points. She has constructed such an inflexible mental map of reality that she is now restricted by it. She is a prisoner of her own biases and prejudices. Perhaps she has decided she doesn't like someone, and so now she always sees that person in a negative light, thus denying herself the opportunities and potentials that could result from establishing friendly relations with that person. The bubble looks fragile, with its crystalline or cracked eggshell surface, but it holds her as steadfastly as if it were an iron chain. If, however, she were to challenge her own assumptions and try to see things from a different point of view, the bubble would pop and the swords would vanish. So my own perception of myself is what's holding me back. And Page of Swords, huh? So it's saying Page of Swords is a quick-witted, somewhat mercurial young woman. She's curious about the world around her, but she lacks the Page of Coins' patience and responsible attitude, and instead her attention playfully hops from one thing to another. She has an insatiable hunger for knowledge, and is not above a little discreet snooping in order to gain that knowledge. Her elaborate headdress with the white feathers symbolize the airy qualities of her mind. The hilts and tips of the 4 sword blades are hidden from view, indicating that her thought processes are not grounded in empirical evidence, the hilts, nor are they yet developed to the point where she is able to glimpse overlying structures and motivations, the tips. So basically, I'm in a planning phase and I'm learning about things, but my perception of myself is still holding me back. Okay, what can we clarify on the 4 of Fire? Knight of Cups. Is there anything else you would like to let me know on the 4 of Fire to clarify? Is there anything else you would like to clarify on the 4 of Swords? Or, sorry, 4 of Fire. Is there anything else you'd like to clarify on the 4 of Fire? Oh, and the 5 of Wands. Okay, so the Knight of Cups and the 5 of Wands, huh? Let's see what they say about that. Where's my Knight of Water? Guess that's technically Cups. Sorry guys, I'm struggling today apparently. Okay, so the Knight of Cups says, while the page floats near the surface, the knight plunges straight into the depths. A figure of fantasy, he rides a seahorse, and on his shield he bears the cup motif. He is a champion of love. He lives and dies for love. He is in love with love. Many think this knight would be the perfect lover, but a steady diet of his romanticism would probably become tiresome after a while. Nonetheless, without his energy, the world would be a dull place indeed. So, tapering my thoughts. Basically, I need to have that clear concise planning that I need, but also I need to not become obsessive in my thoughts. I need to take action. And the Five of Wands says teaming up against a common foe, cooperative teamwork, people who are isolated from each other yet work toward common or opposing goals. Against a fiery dawn sky, 4 male figures wield wands. In the center of the card, two disembodied hands wield a 5th wand. 5 is typically a number of instability and also of great opportunity. The 5 men on the card can most easily be seen as fighting with each other. Thus, the most obvious meaning would be a battle or struggle. However, there are other possibilities. The men could all be on the same side, for example, teaming up against a common foe that surrounds them. In this case, the meaning would be a team of allies under attack. Another possibility is that the men aren't fighting at all, but rather constructing something together. Cooperative creative manifestation would then be the emphasis. If you look carefully, the men seem to each inhabit their own world and are not relating to each other. In this interpretation, the card could mean several people who are working alone, isolated from each other, who are nonetheless working toward the same goal or opposing goals, depending on if you see the men as cooperating or fighting. Any of these meanings could apply. Okay, so I'm going to say this is actually where my reading kind of differs from whoever I felt like needed this. I feel like you're butting your head against a wall with something or someone. Whatever that may be. I kind of feel it's more like work. Maybe you're not being heard about something at work. Maybe you're being brushed to the side about things. I don't know what's going on, but I do know that to me, I got the image of beating your head against a wall. Clear cut, just that image. And so remember not to let your thoughts become obsessive. Try to, even if it's something that you feel like needs to change but is kind of out of your control, try to remember the little things that are in your control. So a great exercise for me to ground me when I start becoming a little too involved with my thoughts is actually, I have anxiety, and so I do the sight, touch, sound, taste, all of the senses, and it grounds me by the time I'm done with those. And so maybe when you feel like you're beating your head against the wall about something, step back, take 3 deep breaths, and look at it from another point of view. But I got a different reading for me. If you're interested, you'll have to message me, okay? Interesting. Okay, so let's clarify choice. What would you like to tell us on choice? What can you tell me to clarify choice? Got the Hangman. And I don't read cards upside down yet, but it was upside down, so if that does help you. Let's see if there's anything else. One more card to clarify choice. could not have picked the Hanging Man. I mean, Five of Cups. Guys, how many times have I pulled this in the last several readings? That is insane. I apparently need to work on something, huh? That's my interpretation of this, okay? Okay, guys. So, for anybody who doesn't know, Tarot, the Major Arcana, is actually what they call the Journey of the Fool. And the Hangman is part of that journey. And basically, I'm going to make sure that it actually does not have a slightly different meaning in here. They all are very similar, but the reason why they all vary slightly is because each artist or tarot deck maker put their own intuition and thoughts into the imagery on each card, and so I do like to reference their books so that I know I'm not misinterpreting, because I could have the Hangman from two different decks and get completely different meanings just from the imagery. So for those of you that are new, I just thought I'd clarify that, okay? So with the Hangman, it's self-sacrifice, ignoring societal expectations, gaining new perspectives, playing the martyr. So, up until this point, the Fool has identified the primary archetypal functions of his own mind, as well as larger moral and ethical considerations as he sets out on his voyage. Now he comes to the conclusion that this stage of the journey, these personages and experiences are not enough to carry him to his destination. He must engage in the self-exploration that he began in the Hermit card. But this time he must go deeper. It is not enough to explore the hidden caves and crevices of the inner landscape. Now he must relinquish the conscious world and dive deep within himself. Gosh, the imagery on this card, dude. The man is nude and is bald. As in the lovers, nudity suggests honesty, honesty and voluntarily exposing one's vulnerabilities. As in faith, baldness implies an openness to other points of view and a broadening of horizons. When we examine the figure's feet, we find that the feet are unbound, with the toes pointed as if to suggest a competitive diver who has just launched himself from the diving board. All of these elements suggest a voluntary giving up of one's present position in life. Do you notice the tattoo on the back? The machinery at the top of the card, as in other cards, represents the workings of our conscious mind. The water at the bottom suggests the depths of the subconscious. Our Hanging Man is seen in the act of diving from his conscious into his subconscious. The Hanging Man is not simply plunging off the deep end into his subconscious mind, but rather is making a deliberate and well-planned foray into new territory. Planning, guys. Well planned. Even in your spiritual journeys, you need to be well planned, okay? So maybe somebody's having issues with planning lately. I know I've kind of slacked off, so I know this is definitely a call for me. The Hanging Man is not simply plunging off the deep end into a subconscious mind, but rather is making a deliberate and well-planned foray into new territory. The rules of the waking mind and the everyday world won't work in this inner landscape, but he is still making an essentially rational decision to venture there. The Hanging Man's tattoos provide another interesting clue. Obtaining a tattoo involves undergoing a painful procedure, so there is certainly an element of sacrifice there. Since tattoos are usually permanent, a person who gets one is forever and indelibly allying themselves with an ideological or artistic statement. Here, the tattoos are completely symmetrical between the right and left sides of his body. This could suggest that the hanging man is leaving behind the prejudices and bias of his conscious mind to enter a world where there are no such distinctions. The tattoos are of stars, moons, and suns, bringing to mind the medals on the fool's breast pocket, which symbolize the goal of the fool's journey, to attain a larger, more complete, and more cosmic awareness and integration. Wow, guys. Holy cow. The hanging man, unlike in most decks, is not only upside down, but also backwards, facing away from us. He is literally turning his back on societal expectations and on the mental structures he has already created for himself. In a reading, this card may simply mean that someone is seeking a new perspective on things. The energy shown in this card can be taken to extremes. Sometimes we find ourselves being self-sacrificing to a fault. Guys, that right there rings true, okay? Stop giving people the bricks that you're building your house with. Soon you will have no more bricks to build your house for helping everybody else. Stop it. And this is just as much for me as it is for you guys, because I love to give to people. So this is a message for me and you guys. Stop giving other people everything that you have. He is literally, oh, I read that one. In other words, playing the martyr. At other times, we may swim against the tide simply because we like to play the role of the nonconformist. The hanging man is one of the most mysterious and evocative images in the tarot deck. Any attempted interpretation will fall short of the visceral impact of this deceptively simple image. When dealing with this card, written interpretations can help, but in the end, the best way to unravel the image is to use its own mystery. So I definitely felt like boundaries. You will learn boundaries. I had another message partly for me too, and it might actually resonate with some of you guys. If you guys are star seeds or light workers or whatever you want to name you have put to said designation, I felt like that this was also your awakening, reaching that first full level of your awakening after your trials and tower moments, so to speak. I feel like this is your reward, your the end of one journey to the start of a new journey, if that makes sense. On this earth, we all come down here and we all progress at different rates, guys. We all came here for different reasons. I personally feel like I came here to be a positive influence on the world, however that may come out in my lifetime. I also feel like I am here because I needed to learn boundaries. For whatever reason, I seem to have an issue with that, and so that's been a major tower thing for me in this lifetime. But especially for you guys, I feel like boundaries. You guys are having issues with boundaries, and by doing these steps of planning, focusing, and inner work, okay, diving deep to your subconscious, you'll have those boundaries. You'll be able to stand up and say, you know, I'm not comfortable with this. I can't do this weekend. I don't feel like doing this. I'm sorry. I won't be able to join you at all. You know, whatever it may be. Let's see if the Five of Cups give us anything. You would think that I would have this one memorized already, guys. I'm telling you. So basically, this is the other side of your choice. That's awesome. Thank you, Spirit Guides, for that. Thank you, guys. So if you do your work, you will end up here. You will end up on the next step to your next level, okay? If you don't do your work, you're going to end up with disappointment, negative attitude, and I think another learning experience that you have to go through to progress, guys. So which one are you going to choose? I think for me, the Hanging Man sounds pretty nice. Okay. See what starseeds have. Spirit guides, is there anything you can tell us on our perception? Is there anything else you would like to tell us on our perception? That's awesome. So for this, it says Earth School, okay? It says life lessons, soul growth, study, higher learning. Gotta remember, just because we're here, at least for me, this isn't the end. I know that I go on after death and that I have other things to do and other purposes. And so for my perception, I mean, I just have to remember that this is an Earth School. This is completely for me to learn on a soul basis things that I may not be able to learn as just a soul. I love that. Anything else on our Four of Wands or Four of Fire? Is there anything else you would like to tell us on our Four of Fire, guys? Portal. Guys, that planning, that getting ready, doors are opening for you, but only you can decide your rewards by putting in your work. Only you can decide the wild cards, okay? That's interesting how they put that. Okay. So by doing your work, whatever that may be, whether that may be boundaries, whether that's letting people in, whether that's gaining higher knowledge, whatever it may be, okay? Having that clear, concise plan and know-how of what you want to do or what you need to do here in this lifetime, only you can gain that. And only you can do that through mental probing of your subconscious mind, okay? Only you can do that. But that's a portal into your next version of this life. Not even saying on to another life, okay? Just saying, are you living the best potential you can today? Or do you need to do some more diving into your subconscious, into the portal? Anything else to clarify the choice card? What can you tell us on the choice card? Oh. Almost had one, guys. Is there anything else you would like to tell me on the choice card? I could not have handpicked this any better, guys. Water your garden. Nourishment, body care, tenderness, and rest. And by doing that, you can dive into your subconscious and you can decide which road you want to take. Do you want to go down the Hanging Man? Or do you want to go down the Five of Cups? Okay, I'm going to pull a moon card. Basically, it's just a little advice. I love to do that with my moon deck, my Dark Goddess deck, and my Eternal Crystals deck. But tonight, we're only going to do my Moonology deck and my Eternal Crystals deck, okay? So, is there any advice you would like to give us tonight? Spirit guides. Is there any advice you would like to give me tonight? Spirit guides. Is there any advice you'd like me to pass on to our audience tonight? I could not have had chosen that, guys. Expect powerful change. New moon eclipse. Guys, expect powerful change if you do your stuff. If you do what you're supposed to do. Look at that. Alright, let's do the Eternal Crystals deck. Is there anything you would like to tell us give us advice on from here, guys? Is there anything else you'd like to give us information on tonight? Trust. Somebody's having a hard time trusting. So the other message that I wasn't sure about, but maybe I should share, this is kind of pushing me to share, is if you're on a new business adventure and you have people that you're working with, don't shut them out. Have trust and build that together. Honestly, I mean, that's what they wanted me to say. They want me to say have trust in building this, and know that when you're building this, especially if it's something that your higher self told you that you need to be doing, it'll flourish, it will work, it will do what it needs to do. And you know, sometimes they need to fall and fail for us to also learn, okay? So I'm just saying, have trust. Okay, apparently I lied. I am going to pull a Dark Goddess card. One last card. What overall energy would you like us to work on this week? Or heck, even just for Thursday. What overall energy would the Dark Goddesses like us to work on Thursday? Okay, so I'm going to read this one. This one's not one that I'm as familiar with. But Arachne, and it's hubris. So let me see what that means, okay, guys? Whoops, I went way past it. Sorry, guys. Okay. So it says, you have been spinning a web of deceit and have become caught in the hubris that is your life. In truth, it has not been easy for you, and instead of shining your light brightly, you've hidden your gifts and abilities. Oh. But I actually don't think this is a deceit of other people. I think this is a deceit to yourself, guys. You've been living by other people's expectations and images of who you are, and spinning this web of deceit that you did not even realize you were spinning, because you just thought you were fitting in. You thought you were just making your parents happy. You thought you were just, you know, helping out a friend. You thought whatever it may be. But instead, you were lying to yourself. You were lying to everyone around you because you weren't being yourself. And watch your ego, guys. Just because you're feeling unsafe or uncertain in a situation, don't let your ego guide you. That will surely end you up down a path that you don't really want to end up, guys. Okay? Dang, guys. That was a strong message tonight. I'm going to just... Thank you guys so much for joining me. I hope you guys have a great day, and namaste.